Hello everyone, Eli here, Louis there. Back for a video. I did this is kind of a long while coming, I guess. I did a trade with a, I did a trade with a guy from Spain a couple months ago, actually. Really cool guy. We've since become friends. He runs a label called Nebular Carcoma. I'll leave a link down below. Remind me if I don't, because it's a fucking dick move. But anyway, we did a trade. I sent him some tapes from my distro, and he sent me some stuff from his distro. He runs a distro and label. The only stuff he had up for trade at this moment was stuff not from his label, so none of these are his releases, but just stuff from his distro, if that makes any sense. Right now we're listening to 2006 demo from Ashpool, American black metal band. This is called Genital Tomb. This came out on Tour de Garde from Canada. Ashpool, like I said, American black metal band. I remember hearing them years ago, probably not as early as this, but I never really cared for too much what I heard. Just like a lot of American black metal, just doesn't do it for me. But anyways, this is an early release. I don't know if this is, I don't know how early. I'm not an Ashpool expert, but anyways, there's the booklet. I think, yeah, lyrics and stuff. Nice J card for, you know, clearly handmade on just kind of regular paper. I may have some of these in my distro. This is a distro copy technically. Well, it's from my collection, but to be honest, I gotta check. If anyone is interested in this, I'd have to check. Just let me know. And the reason I say that is because I know I don't have it listed in my distro yet, as I haven't listed everything. I'm not 100% sure if I have more copies of this, but there's probably a pretty good chance that I do. Anyways, enough about that. We'll get on to the CDs that I got from Sergio, my buddy from Spain. I think they're all black metal, to be honest, every single one of them. But we'll figure that out as we go. Start off with, and you know, I'm not an expert on all these bands. Some of these bands I'm very familiar with. Some of them I'm not familiar with at all. So if I mispronounce, if I can't remember, you know, the countries of origin, stuff like that, please give me a break. I know you guys usually do. I'm not saying anyone is a dick, but I'm just saying, excuse my ignorance, if you will. I think this is a Polish band, Swarost. I'm just going to call them Swarost. And I won't bother pronouncing the album name. I grabbed this because I was vaguely familiar with this band. Vaguely. I think I have one of their tapes. As you can see, this came out on Lower Silesian Stronghold and Ancient Order Productions. Not real familiar with those labels, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, there you go. It's definitely black metal, because I've heard a little bit of these guys, haven't heard this album, but yeah. There are chances that if you're watching this, you might know more about that than me. I'll get around to listening to it eventually. If you've caught on to me in my listening habits, you might know that I'm extremely fucking slow. I mean, if I pick up a pile of music, I mean, it's going to take months probably until I actually get to listening to it. Sorry. Nothing better to drink in the morning than some random purple energy drink that you've never heard of. That probably will give me cancer in 10 years, but let's hope not. Next, I'm very familiar with this band, as most of you are. I don't think I've heard this exact album, but we have Denmark's Denial of God, a band I've always enjoyed. God, I think it's called The Horror of Satan, but I mean, obviously I don't even know what kind of writing that is. Some occult shit or something, but yeah, man, this came out on Bloody Productions in 2006, it looks like. I think this is a 2017 re-release. I think that's what that means. Anyways, yeah, so it's one of their older albums. Denial of God, I've kind of listened to them off and on for, I don't know, probably 10 years or so. I they mostly caught my attention with their last album. I don't remember the name. It came out on Hell's Headbangers. I think it's pretty fair to say it was pretty well liked. You know, critically when it came out. I liked it a lot. Anyways, I felt like it was kind of a step up in songwriting from the previous stuff, but it's kind of, you know, kind of reinterested me in the band to kind of try to go backwards and pick up their old stuff, but I'm not as familiar with their old stuff, so maybe it's as good, maybe it's better, maybe it's not as good, we'll see. Here's another band that I've heard over the years, maybe from Germany. Once again, please don't quote me on that, but yeah, we got Shroud of Satan of Evil Descent. Pretty sure I've heard this exact album before, but it's been a while and I don't really remember. Came out on Saul Records. Here's the inside. I won't spend too much time like flipping through the booklet and stuff like that, but yeah, Shroud of Satan. Remembered it being pretty good. That's why I grabbed it, but like I said, it had been a while and I'm not even sure if I've heard that exact album from the band, but same with this one. Very vaguely familiar with this band in the way that I might have only heard of this band. I don't think I've ever actually heard them. But we have Grimnir with Starhemberg, black metal from somewhere. Man, I can't even pronounce the record label, but there you go. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to even guess that's clearly black metal, but like I said, I'm somewhat familiar with the band from some point in time. Old school looking type photo right there. So yeah, Grimnir. Let me know what you think if you're aware of that band. Here's one we're all familiar with, even me. We have Bestial Summoning. This is The Dark War Continues. This is basically a kind of a re-release of The Dark War Has Begun. Their kind of classic soul full-length album. And what makes this different is that it has a live set tacked onto it from 1992, and then it has a rehearsal compilation track from 91 on there. So this came out also on Bloody Productions. So I'm assuming Sergio probably had done a trade with Bloody Productions at one point, because a lot of these, or several of these, are from that label. Not a label I'm familiar with, but might have to change that because it looks like they do some pretty quality work. So yeah, if you're not familiar with Bestial Summoning, they are they're just an old school Dutch black metal band. They might, I can't say this for sure, but they might be the first Dutch black metal band. They're the first one I had ever heard of, and to the best of my recollection, I other than maybe what's that one band? Funeral. God damn it, Louis. Funeral Winds, I think, something like that. They've been around too. But anyways, one of the oldest Dutch black metal bands, if not the oldest. Very, very fucking raw. Kind of in the vein of, if I was going to compare them to anyone, maybe Beharit. One thing that I didn't know about them until recently, actually, is they played their songs. Often they would just improvise shit. They wouldn't write, like traditionally write music. They would just fucking improvise and record, which is kind of cool. And I guess they would even sometimes do that live, which did bring them some negative publicity, I guess, back in their early days. But they're a cult band to this day, so clearly they did something right. From obscure Abhorrence Productions, a label I am familiar with, we have Drowning the Light with Lost Kingdoms of a Dark Age. Some cool cover art, as always. Drowning the Light. This dude always does a good job with his, with everything really. I mean, his presentation, his songwriting as well, of course, which is what's most important. I haven't heard. I mean, this guy releases a lot of stuff. which is easier to do when you often work alone. But yeah, his discography is massive. I have maybe 3 or 4 of his releases now, I think. Not very many. This is it's a short release. I listened to it. It's a demo or an EP or something like that. But I can't really talk about it. I just kind of vaguely listened to it the other day at work. I wasn't able to really focus. But it's 4 tracks, probably less than half an hour. I remember hearing a lot of synth type stuff, but it's definitely still black metal. But yeah, sorry I couldn't really give more of an opinion on it, but there's a shitload of Drown in the Light fans out there that can do a better job than I can anyways. So this is kind of a blast from the past. Not that I was into the underground when this fucker came out in like '93, but my good buddy who actually lives over here where I do, who was there for this, for shit like this when it came out, he had always he kind of schooled me in the old ways of black metal and death metal and stuff that I wasn't there for, and that's kind of where I got a lot of my knowledge. But this is a band that he talked a lot about. He had gotten their demos back when they first came out through mail order, and he always liked them. They always kind of left a mark on a young John when he yeah. Anyways, we'll get on kind of rambling. We got Lord Fowl here. This is a compilation of 2 Lord Fowl demos. I think it's the only 2, if I remember correctly. The 2 Lord Fowl demos. Lord Fowl was if I remember correctly, I think it wasn't a solo project. God, I can't remember where this guy was from. He owns a label called Rising Beast, which puts out some pretty good stuff. And this guy still stays for as far back as he goes. This guy still stays busy with music. I mean, he's at all times he has like 3 or 4 bands, such as he's got one called Moon Knight. Yeah, like Moon Knight from Marvel Comics, which is good. He's in a couple other bands. I don't remember the names. I'm sorry. But anyway, Lord Fowl. We got the Killing, Raping, Burning demo from '93, and the Devil's Advocate demo from '94, with I think some bonus stuff on here too. This came out on Forever Plagued, awesome US label. It's got a really nice booklet. I won't go through it right now with you, just because I just don't want to pull all the booklets out. But anyways, if you're into Lord Fowl, this is basically the be-all, end-all thing to have. It's and if you've never heard Lord Fowl, I like it. I've always liked it. It's black metal. Traditionally, I'd call it black metal, but it definitely kind of has some. I think there's some death metal influences, especially like in the guitar playing and the guitar tone, I should say. But it's raw, minimalistic, old school. Something you'd expect one guy in the U.S. in 1993 to be playing. Next is a band that only kind of recently, within like this year, has jumped up on my radar, and I'm really glad that they have, because I'm really digging everything I've heard from this guy so far. Forgive me for not pronouncing it correct, but I'm going to say Temno Hor. Kind of sounds like I'm saying whore, but Temno Hor. I don't know, man. Temnohor. It is a black metal band out of Slovakia. The main guy in this band, he was in Malokarpatan for a while, so that I think that fact will probably bring this band, which it's a good thing, will probably bring this band some more focus. This album came out on Egg of Nihilism Productions, another label I'm not familiar with. Obviously, it's Slovakian. I'm not going to try to pronounce that album title, but I have not heard this exact release yet. But I do have one of their tapes in my distro, and it's really fucking good. I've been listening to that lately. To put it simply, it's just ancient ancient second wave sounding black metal. I mean, bordering first wave as far as like Bathory and Hellhammer and stuff go. It is some decrepit sounding stuff. Awesome. I'll just kind of leave you with that short description for now. Next we have, only thing I've ever owned so far from Cold World, a solo black metal band, at least last time I checked, out of Germany. Kind of in the depressive vein, definitely at least the early stuff. I can't speak too much for the later stuff, but this is one of his earlier albums. This is a re-release of The Stars Are Dead Now. And this is from, I'm not sure. It's licensed from Wolfgrim Records, but I can't really tell what label that is that put this out. They did a good job, however. It's a nice release. I have heard some of the old Cold World stuff, but I haven't heard this one, I don't think. If I did, it was years ago. But anyway, what I'm expecting, at least, is some really, really good depressive black metal. If you like depressive black metal from like the kind of mid 2000s to mid this kind of stuff was popular, I'd say, like from like 2005 to like 2012 roughly, if you know what I mean. Bands like Nagura Bunget, you know, I mean, they weren't really depressive, but you know, they were kind of active around that time. I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is in my opinion, there were a lot of good, really good depressive black metal bands in that time, whether they were solo projects or like full bands. I think that was a really good era for that type of music, and that's where Cold World fall. However, this guy has continued, and he's still making pretty critically acclaimed music to this day. In fact, I mean, he's released stuff as early as I think like last year, 2017 or something like that. But anyway, I rambled way too long on that. We all know who Cold World are. Pretty popular. Most people in that into that kind of black metal are definitely going to know. Probably articulate it better than me. Next is a split from Mortualia and Inmitten des Waldes. This came out on Dunkelheit Productions and Self Mutilation Services. Limited to 500 copies. Reason I grabbed this is for the Mortualia side. Mortualia is Shotrog from Horna and, you know, like 20 other bands. I really like Mortualia. I really like what he does with that project. It's a solo project. It's just him. Very depressive, very much depressive black metal, done really, really well. And I haven't heard, though I do have a tape of theirs in my distro, Inmitten des Waldes. Sorry, I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly. It's a Brazilian band, and that's really all I know. I had planned on giving them a listen soon, since I have one of their tapes, but I haven't yet, so that's all I got. This is, I think, a Swedish or Norwegian black metal band. Two guys, I think. It's called Monstrat. Scythe and Scepter digipack. It's I put it in one of these little sleeves. This came out on Fallen Temple. There's the back. I'll open it up for you. It's got a pretty cool layout. Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't have. It's kind of a typical digipack, I guess. Just got a band photo. But anyways, I've listened to this band in the past. It might have been 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't listen enough to really give much of a rundown. Definitely violent Norse-sounding black metal. Maybe kind of in the vein of like that orthodox black metal stuff that was popular, you know, on Scapt and stuff like that. Maybe a little bit in the vein of that. You will have to find out on your own, and then you can school me. Next we have, this is an old black metal band out of Portugal. These guys go way back. We got Decade. I think this is a compilation. I can't remember. This is Nocturnal. This came out on Hell Productions, and I can't remember if it's a compilation or not. No, I don't think I think it's a studio album. As you get with almost every Decade album, for some reason, there's always a shitload of bonus tracks, which is fine. I mean, there's always going to be some covers and stuff like that. There's a number of covers on here. This we get on the inside. If you can dance to it, it ain't metal, it's shit. But anyways, yeah, Portuguese black metal. This band goes way back to the early 90s, and in my opinion, always good. Ancient black metal, basically Bathory worship, and really nothing else. This band does not usually, they don't progress. They just simple first and early second wave black metal, and that's it. That's what you're gonna get from them. Next we have who has been a fan of this band, and in my opinion, this is their best release. We have a Russian black metal band, Black Death, with Satan Mocked Frey. I've always wanted this album, and I don't know why I'm only just getting it, but came out on Drakkar Productions. There you have the inside. What I always thought was notable about Black Death is they're a Russian black metal band, and this is what one of my buddies said years ago. I remember him saying that he loves Black Death because they're a Russian black metal band that doesn't sound like a Russian black metal band. Basically meaning, we all know the sound that that Russia is kind of known for, bands, like the Blaze Birth Hall bands and stuff like that. I think they really kind of have a stranglehold on, what anyone would consider a Russian or Ukrainian sound. Like even, the Ukrainian bands, that kind of sound, but Black Death, they just sound more of like a second wave European black metal band. Very, very good stuff, though, if you get my drift. You'll have to excuse my rambling. I woke up not too long ago, and my head is not screwed on straight. Not that it ever is, but... Next we have a band that I've been kind of getting into just really like this year, maybe late last year, but we have from Portugal, Satanize. I have at least one or two of their tapes in my distro, and that's kind of what really helped me discover them. Really good stuff. I've been kind of snagging anything from them that I can. This came out on Deviant Records, by the way. The album is called Apocalyptic Impious Command. This band, they kind of... everything I've heard from them so far is quality. They kind of... I don't know, I don't want to say they play a different style from album to album, but they do kind of change it up a bit. This one kind of threw me for a curve. When I first saw this cover, I mean, I'm a sucker for this kind of artwork, but it's kind of more, compared to their other covers, this is more of like looks more of like a traditional, kind of like a bestial war metal type album, with the black and white artwork and the red logo. But like I said, I'm a sucker for that kind of shit, so it doesn't bother me. Now we have I got a couple things from this band, I think, in this trade. We got Blood Red Fog out of Finland. We got Thenotic Supremacy. Came out on Deviant Records as well. Blood Red Fog, at least their earlier stuff that I had heard, is kind of a depressive sound. Done really well, like a depressive sound in the Finnish vein, if that makes any sense. Which, if you like both those, typical sounds, that's a good thing. I forgot about this picture. I don't know if I should show this, but fuck it, whatever. What does it matter? Here's the band. You're welcome. All right. Moving on, I got another Blood Red Fog release. This one is called Radiating Desolation. Also on no, this is I can't pronounce this record label. But anyways, there's the cover. Sorry, it's a really scratched case I put it in. And And yeah, haven't heard this release yet either, but I'm expecting quality. That's what matters. Fuck. Sorry guys, gotta stretch my knee. As I think I said that in one of my last videos, my knee has been fucked lately. Like to the point where I may have to go to a doctor. It's jacked. And clearly I didn't really put these in any kind of order, because now we have another Satanize album. Also in a shitty ass case from '92 probably that I put it in. This album is called Black Rotten Witchcraft, and this came out on Dunkelheit production. I always thought this band looked cool too, like whenever they do band photos. I always thought they looked fucking awesome. You guys have probably noticed, if I've noticed it, I'm sure everyone else has, but there's been quite a kind of a surge in quality of bands from Portugal. So, Satanize being one of them, I think that's cool. Help put Portugal on the map, for quality black metal. Not that they were never on there to begin with, but I'm just saying, like, I think they're really starting to. I'm not going to call it a scene, because I don't know if any of these bands are even affiliated with each other or are from the same part of Portugal, but they're definitely putting Portugal on the map for quality black metal. Next we have a band called I'm sure I'm not going to pronounce this right. I always thought it was Tymah, T-Y-M-A-H. Definitely European, but I can't say much else. European black metal. Fuck, I can't even... The label logo is so small on the back, I can't read that, but anyways, yeah. I'll try to... I don't know, man. Maybe I'll try to leave some links down below. I'm terrible. I almost never leave links, which is probably a lazy and shitty thing to do. Anyways, we'll move on. Next we have an American black metal band that I do like, with a, at least from the sound of it, I always assumed this was a Polish name that they gave their band. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'll just show it to you. You might know that band. Anyways, album's called Unbroken Spirit. This came out on Werewolf Promotion. And there's the inside. I haven't heard a ton from this band, but from what I do remember, or from what little I've heard, I remember it sounding kind of really harnessing that Russian Ukrainian sound, like that Blazebirth Hall sound. It really reminded me of like Forest and Branicald and stuff like that, which I love those bands. I'm not gonna lie. So it's if you're gonna pay tribute to a certain sound, I mean that's for me anyway, that's a good way to go. So I'm really excited to hear that. Next we have a band I've always really liked too. This is a Hungarian black metal band. Two guys, I think. We have Dusk with Orok Halalban. I shouldn't have went there, but yeah, at least I can say the band name right. Dusk. That's not 4 letters. Not too far out of my league. This is kind of one of their later releases, ish. This came out on Possession Productions. As you probably noticed, I'm not real great at describing certain albums, especially if I haven't owned them and I haven't spent a lot of time with them. I'm really not even going to bother. But it's good, cold black metal. What can I say? This band has been on my radar for a long time, so I try to get stuff from them when I can. This is a band out of I think out of Canada, like the French-speaking part of Canada. Sanctuary. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to pronounce that because I'm a dummy American. But there you go. Very cool cover art. That's kind of what grabbed me when I saw this. That, and I had heard of the band, and I know there's a lot of great bands out of I think it's out of like the Quebec area of Canada, which is, I mean, they've kind of made a name for themselves as really quality black metal bands. So between the cover art and the region and everything, I grabbed it. Have not heard this. I've never heard this band, so you might have. You can let me know. By the way, what label? I don't know. I can't even tell what label. Is it Tour de Garde? It might be. Sorry. I don't know. Came out on a label. A Canadian label, I think, if it's Tour de Garde. This next band, I don't remember. I don't remember why or what interested me in this. I don't know if I if I just thought the cover art was cool, because it is, or if I had been vaguely familiar with this band. Anyway, Andeis, so Andeis maybe, Servants of the Cold Night. I mean, really cool cover art. This came out on Lunar Apparitions and another label that I can't pronounce. But anyways, yeah, I'm sure it's black metal. I don't know anything else, so let me, if you guys know anything about any of these albums, talk to me about them, because that'll be cool. You probably know a lot more than I do. I just have them. That's all I can really say about most of these. This one I had to grab because, I mean, who wouldn't? We got Vlad Tepes, famous Black Legions band out of France. I don't know if they're active anymore. I know some of those guys are still active or have been kind of dabbling as of late. I'm not sure about them, but anyway, this is it's an EP or a demo. I can't remember which. Morte Lune. At least that's how I always pronounced it. There we go. It's an LLN release. I can say that much, and that should at least give you an idea of what it probably sounds like. I've never heard it before, but I'm sure I'll listen soon, or I'll try. Next we have a don't know when this came out, but it's a demo from Graveland, Grunmatron, or Grunmaton, Grunmaton. That's I'll go with that. This came out also on Forever Plagued. Like I said, I don't remember what year this came out originally. This is obviously a re-release, but fucking Graveland, man. Graveland are one of those bands. I absolutely, say what you want about them, but I will buy anything I can get my hands on. And it's literally quality every fucking time. So next, we only got a few more here. We got one more Satanized album. This came out on Tour de Garde out of Canada. Really like the layout and artwork and stuff in this for this one. Anyway, the album is called Demonic Conquest in Jerusalem. Also a very cool title. So stoked to hear that. And last but not least, this is not a DVD. It's just a CD that came in a DVD case. Some bands do that from time to time. The band is called Silva Nigra, and this is I believe a Czech band, if I remember correctly, because I have heard a couple of their albums. Sorry, I'm going to try not to even bother pronouncing the title. So anyways, you can do what you will with that. This came out on Self-Mutilation Services and Death Cult. Something like that. Limited to 500 copies. Really good job with this one. This is a really nice booklet, by the way. Fairly detailed. And actually, I'll pull it out. There's that. There's the back. Credits and stuff. Really cool layout. All the band members. Very old school looking. They do a great job. Raw, nasty, cold black metal is what I remember from Silva Nigra. So anyways, that is all I got for now. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks. You're fucking awesome and very patient and tolerant for special people such as I. Anyways, got lots of videos. I already have a bunch recorded, just need to upload them. Got a bunch of cool ideas for videos coming up in the near future, so I feel a little bit more inspired than I have in some time, so I guess that's a good thing. Or it's a bad thing, we'll find out. But anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk soon. Cheers.